All right, everyone, we have good news and bad news when it comes to trade deals. The USMCA passed with flying colors through the House, wide bipartisan support. There were a few dozen Democrats that voted no, and I think a couple of Republicans, and that's pretty much it. The USMCA largely replaces NAFTA and tinkers around with a little bit. It retools it, considering that the economic situation for the three member states, the US, Canada, and Mexico, is not the same as it was when NAFTA was passed. NAFTA was always bad for the U.S. anyway. It was an attempt for the U.S. to gain influence at the expense of jobs, essentially, to send manufacturing out in order to undercut some Asian powers at the time. That's really what it was about, to embolden, Canadian and Mexican industry and lower prices in the U.S. by keeping things a little bit more domestic. That is, it was essentially a capitulation of U.S. manufacturing. The USMCA addresses the fact that it doesn't have to be that way, and that because of innovation, because of qualitative advancements in technology alone, the U.S. is now competitive again. So it's a reversal of the capitulation. The new USMCA is not the same as Trump's USMCA. The Democrats have gone back and forth with the GOP and fiddled with it, but it's largely the same. Here's the thing, though. The USMCA was Trump's brainchild. He was the only one pushing it at first, and a lot of people, including some Republicans, never expected it even to be ratified by the other member states. The Democrats have given him a huge gift by passing it. This is Trump's Christmas gift this year. That being said, because of impeachment being on the table, the Senate's not going to take it up until that's resolved. They're holding... it's funny to watch McConnell do this. Even though this is the bad news, it is funny the finesse with which this is being done. He comes out very visibly and says, well, USMCA would have broad bipartisan support. Trump is a great guy for engineering it. But we're not even going to vote on this. We're not even going to hold debate on it until after the impeachment fiasco is over. After this witch hunt is over, we'll pass the USMCA. I don't know how good a McConnell impression that is, but you get the idea. It's a great idea as far as putting the screws to them, because as soon as break is over, they're going to have... Technically, Trump hasn't even been impeached. He has, but they haven't even referred the case to the Senate. They have to officiate it and actually send it to the Senate for it to be official. There's an asterisk right now by Trump being impeached. He's not even impeached yet. Because Nancy Pelosi wanted more time to find evidence. Normally, Nancy, I don't understand. I think she's got a law degree. Doesn't she understand you're supposed to find evidence before you put someone on trial or claim that there's a crime? You can't indict someone without evidence. They indict the sitting president through impeachment. It's basically what it is. They're indicting him, saying he obstructed Congress and abused the powers of his office. And then they charge him with this, but then they won't even send it over to the one body capable of trying the case because they want more time to gather more evidence. What more evidence do you need? What, you're holding out for John Bolton to come talk to you? It's not going to happen, dude. You're not going to be able to bring him before the House, and at this point, you've already solidified the impeachment process. It now goes to the Senate. How long is it going to take him? How long is Nancy Pelosi going to sit on it, now knowing the USMCA is tied up by that as well? Of course, the one problem would be, of course, if Nancy Pelosi decides never to send the articles over, and it's basically dead after the break, it's possible. You look at the polling on impeachment, the best that the Democrats can hope for is that 50% of the population largely supports their effort. Well, more than 50% of people disapprove of Trump. There's a gap of millions of voters being alienated by this, and the process is getting less approved of day over day. Each polling period shows impeachment losing a little bit more support. The longer she keeps it up, the worse it gets for the Democrats. McConnell can hold the fire to her toes forever. Here's the thing. He's hoping to. Right now, the far left looks weak. The far left wants the Democrats to proceed. Fucking send it to the Senate. They're expecting that there's at least a chance Orange Man removed. It's not actually going to happen, but they want the process to go forward. I'll tell you one thing. The AOCs and all of these others, when impeachment is sent to the Senate and results in a quick acquittal, which I suspect it will, it's going to be funny watching them all blame Nancy Pelosi. Well, you should have gotten this extra evidence before we had the vote. You should have gotten it. You should have been faster. You should have been slower. You should have been more thorough. You should have been more speedy. They're going to rake her over the coals, and probably some of them will demand that she resign. It'll be very, very funny to see the Democrats rip each other apart during an election season. You get, oh yeah, a couple months from now, Iowa and New Hampshire vote. What are we going to do? We'll attack each other. We'll make life miserable for the DNC. Oh, it's going to be great. And Trump knows this. He's probably commanded McConnell to drag this part. You can't drag the trial itself out. You want that to be fairly speedy, I guess, is the general logic of McConnell and Trump. That's what they're going to try to do. But at least until the articles are sent over by the House, you can delay as long as you want. McConnell doesn't need to give any form of assurances on the trial's shape or structure to the House. It's not their purview. Pelosi and the Democrats don't have the right to command the Senate. They don't hold the Senate. The Senate is held by the GOP. And by the way, while everything's tied up, McConnell is just ratifying more and more federal judges anyway. Judicially, Trump is setting the stage. He's playing such a long game. 30 years from now, Trump appointees will still be broadly shaping federal policy. You realize what he's done, right? He's single-mindedly plowing ahead with that particular single-minded goal and doing very well, and the Republicans love to talk about it. The Democrats never mention federal judges. Why do you think? They're still afraid that Ginsburg's going to croak at some point, and Trump will get a second term and be the person replacing him. It will be hilarious. Now, I say this as someone who is pro-gay rights and pro-abortion. These are some of the signature things Ginsburg I'm aligned with, more or less, on. I don't want to see her replaced by a Scalia clone or anything, but it'll be funny to see the left worry about that fact happening. I don't think that it will. Trump has more finesse than that, and he's a New York moderate. He's not, people still think Trump is far right. There are people who still make memes of him as though he's like some good old boy, pals around in the small town dentist shop and carries a whiskey flask with him, sort of thing. Like he's watching the Dukes of Hazzard marathon. He has nothing in common with you if that's the lifestyle that you live. I hate to tell you this, but Trump makes enough money every day to buy your house and probably your whole neighborhood over, and like chandeliers and limousines and owning his own fleet of jets. He doesn't have anything in. It's like Mitt Romney pretending he goes to the demolition derby with his rain ponchos. So, oh, those are some fancy ponchos. Instead, pretends to be like a normal person and just comes off gawky. Trump doesn't do that. Trump loves to tell you he's not normal. No, I'm not normal. I'm huge. My bank account is huge. My houses are huge. My skyscrapers are basically big extensions of my own penis. Donald Trump has no problem admitting it. Donald Trump, the man of several hundred penises. That's what you should call him. I think he'd like that one. Sort of the humor I'm sure he'd go for on The Apprentice. Yeah, the normal person, my ass, dude. The USMCA should be passed, but it's going to be fun watching the Democrats sweat bullets until it is. That's about all. Peace out.